Phil and Will are back with another prediction episode. This one's going to be a little bit more fun. We got a double episode coming up, a 2-hour one on Wednesday night, and we think there's a tribe swap. So forgive us if our power rankings are a little off this week.
Oh,
We're
they
going to
will
give it
be.
our best shot. That's all
They'll
we're going to do.
they'll be pretty bad, I assume,
Yeah, we
because
might get one right, but I don't know if the tribe swap's coming in the first episode or the second one. I'm thinking it's going to come in the second one, and if it does, we have no idea. Normally, you have a week in between tribe swaps, and at least you can kind of like figure out like who's going to be on whose tribe. We have no idea right now.
right. I mean, and are we sure there's a tribe swap? We're pretty sure, right?
Yeah, there was something where there was like a 3-second promo that said drop your buffs. It was like Wednesday on Survivor, drop your buffs, and that was it. That's all we got. So at least that's all I
I
saw. If there
mean,
was something else, I didn't see it.
episode fives are notorious for being swap episodes anyway. So yeah, we'll probably get a normal first episode, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of like a predictable boot, and that's why they're doubling up this week. And then the second part will be a tribe swap. Hopefully, some excitement. But yeah, let's.
Supposedly Jeff is promoting this though as like the best episode. Like this is one of the best episodes of the season.
4 and 5 or
Yeah.
5, just 5 or four
No,
and 5.
4 and 5, like the combination he's saying is great. Like he loves it.
Well, hey, that's awesome. A lot to look forward to. Yes, the power rankings it's definitely trickier this week. You want to start it off?
Yeah, I'll start it off. I keep on. I'm actually for an update. I'm beating Will by 3 points. I just had to say that. It makes me feel good. But this week's gonna change a lot of that. I feel like. So I'm gonna put at number one. I'm gonna put Haley, just because I've been really high on Haley, and I feel like in that alliance she's the least threatening. I don't feel like she's made Will mad. I feel like if her and Will got stuck on a tribe together, Will would just kind of follow her. I don't feel like he's really gonna gun for Haley. Haley's kind of like not. She's not an immediate threat. She's not an obvious threat. So I kind of like Haley. I'm going to put her at number one. She's really she's one of like 5 people I feel like is absolutely safe right now. And I don't even know if I'm certain of that. But right now, that's my biggest confidence is in Haley.
Yeah, I like Haley too. The only thing with Haley is that she is like a younger chick that could be perceived as weak. I'm not saying she is weak, but if she lands on a tribe and they lose, and she kind of has something to do with their loss, and if word gets around that this Joe Jed Haley alliance is really tight and they want to break that up before the merge, I could see Haley just having the bad luck victim thing. I mean, we see it all the time in tribe swaps. People just get screwed.
What's hard about this though right now is we really have to. You have to figure out it. Normally these double episodes are later in the game, so you kind of know where alliances stand anyway. Right now, you really have to figure out who could be safe for the next 2 episodes. Like it's not just who's going to be safe this one; it's who's going to be safe for the next 2. And it's really hard to say right now because it's already been hard to figure out where alliances are this season. Like the only one we're certain of is Haley, Joe, and Jen. That's the only one we're really certain of.
That's it. And now I'm getting a scared feeling I'm looking at my power rankings right now, and I might have to change something up because the Sierra and Kelly really worry me at this point. Like, are they just going to be players that we just don't see a lot of, and then they get screwed by the tribe swap? Like that could be the case.
Normally though they normally edit people who get screwed pretty high actually. I don't know if that's weird, but they normally edit people up who get screwed
Like
over
who?
by a swap. Okay, let me try to think here. I don't know. I just watched Nicaragua. They didn't really over-edit Tyrone or Eve, but they didn't really over-edit anybody in that season. I'm trying to think who got like I don't know. I didn't have a backup plan for this. I didn't have somebody in
Okay.
mind. But you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I just feel like there's a lot of times where okay, for example, this is going way back, but Xi'an in Thailand. They pretty much screwed her with doing the fake merge, but they edited her so much and she wasn't even a jury member. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then somehow
That's
it's an all-star.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like way back. I'm trying to think of a more recent example.
See, I'm thinking the other way. Like just more recently, San Juan del Sur with Kelly, who was clearly like a pretty smart chick, was a big fan of the show. She just got totally screwed by the tribe swap, and we didn't see anything from her. Like she was very under-edited.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But then again, I don't know. Survivor's always been mean to the young bikini girls for some reason. The editors have always been mean to them. Even when they win, like Natalie White, they still don't get shown that much. Like I don't know why. There's just not many of them that get shown. So I'm more worried about Sierra than Kelly. I'm not as worried about Kelly. I feel like Kelly's got something coming still.
Okay, yeah, and Kelly did have a confessional last week, a pretty good one at that. So right, I'm gonna stick with the I'm gonna go in with Kelly, number one in my power rankings. Just I did have Sierra just right behind her at two, but I'm reconsidering that now. But Kelly at one, just because, like you kind of just said, we had more to see from Kelly. We haven't seen much of her at all. She's gotten I think she had one confessional in the premiere, and then episode two we didn't hear from her at all. And then last week we got that one confessional about the bar fight. But she's looked good so far, so that's why I'm pretty confident. And she's not really threatening. I feel like sometimes when there's a tribe swap, it's an opportunity for tribes to say, okay, let's take out the strong players, even if they're physically strong. It doesn't worry you as much because you're heading into a merge. You know the merge is coming.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, it's just this season. Like normally, there's like a one person. Like if Nina was still in the game, I'd feel so confident that Nina was going to go no matter where she ended up. I feel like right now there's really not one person who you can say they're definitely going to go no matter where they end up. But back to like the whole point about do they get any say? I feel like normally like people who are kind of invisible are more like mid jury boots where it's just like, well, they didn't really have like a storyline. Like very rarely do you get somebody who comes on the show, has like one or two confessionals, like Hope from back in Caramoan, and then you just never hear from him again. Like that very rarely happens. That's not like a big thing. And I feel like they had a preseason preview of Sierra that aired on CBS. There's no way they had a preseason preview of her, and then she's just not going to do anything the whole season.
What do you mean a preseason preview?
They had like something where it was like, can this rodeo barrel person, whatever her thing was, can she overcome it? And it was like her jumping over the
Well,
fence.
you have to remember she's a fairly good-looking chick, so that
Okay,
might have something to do with it.
she's fairly good looking. Yeah, okay, I'll give her that. But
And
I don't know.
wearing a blue bikini on the beach. I wouldn't jump to any conclusion about her game placement based on her coming up in an advertisement.
All right, I see what you're
But,
saying.
right, that's just me.
I'm trying
So
to
yeah,
defend it because I do have Sierra kind of high still, so I'm trying to defend myself here.
okay, we'll go for it. You can go with your number two in your rankings.
Well, my number two, I think this one's actually going to really surprise you, but I'm going Tyler, and I just feel like he's in a really quiet position right now, and I could see him getting screwed over by a swap. But at the same time, I feel like he's going to be really good at maneuvering, just like he is on this white collar tribe, where you really don't know where he stands because he fits in well with everybody, and he's got such an even keel. It's really unbelievable how calm this guy is. So I think that he's going to be okay, and I think he's going to survive this double boot. But after him, I'm not confident in anyone.
Oh, so you only have two people that you're like
Well, two,
sure with.
I was confident on my three and four until you started talking now, but my
Right,
top two,
right.
I'm a little confident.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, Tyler, I have him a little bit lower, but I'll get into him once I hit him. Number two, I'm gonna go with Carolyn, and she's in good with the white collar tribe. If they were to go to tribal, you would think would be Shireen or Joaquin going, and then in a swap, uh, I think she definitely still has her idol heading into a swap. So. She's got that if she really feels like she's in danger. And she seems like just a good chick to be around. She's not annoying. We have a lot of people that are annoying this season that are really getting on people's nerves. So uh, I think that's why Carolyn, no matter where she lands, she'll be safe.
I actually have Karen a lot lower, and my reasoning is because of the idol, but I'll get into that more like later. But I don't know, just something about that idol and just the way that White Collar's been, how like the alliances have shifted, like where you really don't know where everybody stands. That's one of the harder ones to figure out. Them and Blue Collar, we haven't really gotten a great feel on where everybody is. It seems like Shireen's on the bottom at White Collar, but then again, Shireen's a gamer, and if she can figure something out after a swap, I could see Carolyn going before her. So I have Carolyn a little bit lower, but my number three, I have Kelly. So you had her at 1. I have her at 3. I don't know about Kelly. I think that Kelly's fine. I thought she was fine, and then you started talking, and you're like, uh-oh, what if she just gets an invisible boot? I don't think so. I think she's in too good of a spot where she's kind of stronger. She keeps her mouth shut. I don't think she's going to rub people the wrong way on a swap, and I think she's going to be like Tyler and just keep maneuvering her way.
Yeah, I'm more worried about Sierra than I am Kelly, and not because of the hot chick thing that you were saying, just because she hasn't had a confessional since the premiere, and she only had one in the premiere, so she could be getting that Kelly Wentworth edit. And there's probably other players that have had that too. That's just the one that comes to mind.
I hear you.
So, yeah. Okay. I will go with number 3 in my power rankings. I'm going to go with Max. And I think, again, Max will, let's say White Collar goes to Tribal in the first episode. I think he's fine. Shireen and Joaquin, again, those are the 2 people on the bottom of that tribe. And then after a swap, you got to think Max is savvy enough to maneuver his way into the majority. And he's not threatening. So if people are kind of, at least not yet, he hasn't done anything that's too threatening. So people won't be really wary of him that much. And I don't know. You gotta think Max survives this double boot episode.
I'm worried about Max, but I'll get into him later again because I am worried about Max.
Sure. Okay.
I'll talk about that when I actually get to him, but I am a little worried about Max this week. I have a couple reasons for that. I can see why you think he'd be safe. I don't know. I'm just a little worried. I'll just go. My number 4, I'm just going to stick with Sierra. I had Sierra there. I don't think that she's just going to get thrown under the bus. The only one I can really think of who really got like the worst invisible boot, almost like what Sierra got here, was that girl Hope from Caramoan, where she had like 2 confessionals the entire time she was out there. And what was she there, 3 episodes or something? Like, she didn't talk. I don't even remember how many episodes she's there. But like, Caramoan was a really poorly edited season. I feel like this season is so well edited. They're not going to leave somebody completely on the cutting room floor. I feel like she's going to get her due eventually. Maybe even this episode. Maybe it just took her storyline a little bit to get going, and she needed the tribe swap to really start mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we hope that. I just keep saying this with Kelly Wentworth. It literally happened last season.
I know.
Like it just happened. So that's where I'm at with Sierra. But yeah. So number 4, I have Haley. And we talked about Haley. The only reason I have her a little lower than you is I've already said this, just because if someone thinks she's like a physical liability or she screws up a challenge. So yeah, 4, that's pretty high. I'll hop right into 5 just to knock off. I have Sierra at 5. I don't think she's in much danger, but I have her at least lower than you, so that if she does go home, it doesn't hurt me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Sierra, I think's all right. Haley, I think's all right. Like, there's a couple of people who they've been really, there are some savvy players in all of the mess that was last week with Blue Collar just being so ridiculous, just constantly screaming at each other, one-upping each other, with Shireen doing her stupid monkey sex thing. Like, with all of that madness, there are some really good, calm, social players in this game still. And I think Sierra's probably one of them. She's staying out of the heat over at Blue Collar. I don't see how she goes away. Kelly's one of them. She's staying out of the heat. You know what I mean? So I think that Sierra and Kelly are fine, no matter really what happens. But my number 5, I have Joe. I don't know how I feel about Joe this week. And that's how I feel about every single person from Joe down. I really do not know how I feel about any of them. Because if Joe gets on the wrong end of something here, he gets on the wrong end of the numbers, and they say, well, he's strong. We have other strong guys. If they have like Joaquin and they have Tyler or like who else? Max even. I mean, he's a strong guy. Mike. If they have him on their tribe, they might say, well, Joe's the leader of this little alliance. Let's get rid of him. And I could see it happening, even though people like him, because they might like him too much, and they're going to be thinking really far ahead in this season.
Yeah, I have. I'll get to Joe, but the thing with Joe is, yeah, if he gets pegged as the leader of no callers, which I mean, one might think already, even going to challenges, you could probably tell. So he'll have a target on his back for sure. It might not be this week, but people will be wary of just. I mean, he's got great smile. He's physically fit. It really depends what happens with this tribe swap. And no caller could be the tribe that goes to tribal in the first episode, and then they would get Will out, and then it's not like they have it's 3 people, which isn't when you get down to 2 tribes, they'll have 7 each. 3 is no majority, and if they did have 3, that would take serious luck to be all together. So I do worry about Joe a little bit. So wait, what number was that for Joe?
5.
5. Okay, so I'll go with 6. I have Jen at 6, and I just like you're saying, this is really tough to rank because of this upcoming tribe swap. But Jen, I don't think she's that threatening, and she's not physically weak. So she's like right in the middle there, where okay, like I'm not really too worried about her, and also okay, she's not going to help us lose challenges. Like she'll actually, not that she's like a great challenge performer, but it's not like we have to get rid of her if we want to stay away from Jeff at Tribal Council.
Yeah, I have Jen at number 6 as well, actually. And the reason I have Haley ahead of her is because I feel like Haley is less threatening and Haley's less likely to cause trouble. I feel like Jen could be seen if her sarcasm keeps coming across wrong like it did with Nina, and I feel like only Nina, maybe Vince a little, but not too much. But if her sarcasm, if she starts talking about Rodney's mom or something, like who knows? That might be the end of her. Like she might be done.
I don't know if no one can talk worse about Rodney's mom than Dan. Like Dan has already called her a whore. Like there's not much else you can do. And Jen, like she has this like snarkiness.
She's self-aware.
But it's like, we get a lot of that through the confessionals. It's not like she's going up to Nina like, haha, you can't hear.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like she's being a bully. I know the term bully has been thrown out there, but I think for the most part she's been, a socially strong player. She's obviously in the majority. We did have that scare with her in episode 2, but yeah, I'm not really that worried about Jen.
No, the only one out of the no callers other than Will, the only one I'm actually a little worried about is Joe. The only thing is I have Joe a little bit higher because he seems like, although in the exit interview from Nina with Gordon Holmes, she said that he was cocky, which I kind of thought was weird because it seemed like her and Joe kind of bonded. So maybe other people are having him come across as cocky. It wasn't just Vince, and the show's just not showing it right now. But I feel like he does come across a nice enough of a guy, and he is kind of like strong enough where I don't think they're going to get rid of him either next if no collar goes or if there's a tribe swap. I feel like he could be a number and useful for somebody. So I have him at 5. I'm going to do my 7 before you do your 7.
Go for it.
I have Mike, and I feel like this could be high for Mike, but I also feel like Lindsay and Rodney might be on the lower end now. I feel like they're the ones who are in more trouble. And once again, it comes down to Dan and Mike don't know how to keep their mouths shut either. But I feel like Lindsay and Rodney say too much of the wrong thing, especially Lindsay. I feel like she says too much of the wrong thing. And Mike is a strong guy, so if he can survive one vote, he's not going to be the first guy to go from the blue-collar tribe at like a tribe swap.
Right, and the thing with Mike is if he gets to the tribe swap, which, like you said, we're pretty sure he will, I think he will fit in well with the other people. Like I can see him and Carolyn getting along for some reason. If he tones down, I mean, he tried, getting everyone to work, and he clearly saw that that's probably not working. If he learns from that and is on a new tribe, he can be kind of this, because he's a nice, good, likable guy when he's not yelling at you to get firewood. So yeah, I see what you're going with that. My number 7, I have Tyler, and I know you had Tyler at what, 2?
2, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a little high. I'm not totally worried about Tyler, but he can easily fall on the wrong end of a tribe swap, and he has this white collar label, and I think it's going to be harder for the white collar people come the tribe swap. We've seen it. We saw in the first challenge that Joe, once their puzzle was finished, he said, holler or blue collar or something, like come, look at our puzzle. It's clear that the white collar are kind of the villains, and if anyone just doesn't like a tribe just by their collar or whatever, it's white collar tribe. So that's why I have them lower.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm glowing in the afterglow of Tyler being MVP.
Oh, that's right, he was
voted MVP. So I finally got something for my tribe. But I don't know. I like Tyler. He might be My friend said it to me when we watched the first episode. He's like, "This might be the calmest guy to ever be on this show because he just like talks, but never does he raise his voice. And even when the Shireen thing was bothering him, yeah, he's covering his eyes and stuff, but he wasn't saying to Shireen, 'Go put your pants on.' He was saying in the confessional, 'Why is everybody getting naked?' And it was funny. Like I think he knows, like as long as you don't talk to any, like as long as you're not rubbing people the wrong way, you're gonna be fine for a long time in the game.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I mean 7 is fairly
Yeah,
high.
he's above
I just
half.
I just do worry about, hey, he just lands on this tribe, not in the numbers, and they say, who do we want to get out? Oh, let's get Tyler out. He's big, he's strong, physical threat, and he's white collar. Um, I mean, that could happen. It's not. It wouldn't be that crazy. I hope it doesn't. I do like Tyler. I enjoy, like you said, his calmness, and I loved how he didn't spill the beans about the idol.
Hmm.
Definitely the MVP. So I do like Tyler, but 7's a good spot for him. Right after Tyler, I will just go with 8 here. I have Joe. And Joe is a similar story, I guess. With just he's the leader of No Collar, and that could put a target on his back. And I know it's still in tribe mode where you want to stay strong and win challenges, but once that tribe swap happens, I think it kind of changes that thought process. You want to really watch out for people that can win the game, and Joe is certainly one of those people.
Well, and that's on to who my number 8 is. I have Max, and that's the same reason kind of you have Joe at number 8. I don't know if Max is going to go. I don't feel like he's number one target. But if they're looking at him as the leader of the white collar tribe, Max is in a lot of trouble. And if it gets out that he knows the game as well as he does, people might want to get rid of him before they can hit a merge and he can really start playing. Right now, I know that he's a little bit on the outskirts of white collar, and yeah, he might be able to maneuver his way in. But if they start saying this guy really knows the game and he's not the biggest, strongest guy, he's not a real challenge threat. But
See, how would they know that he knows the game really well? How is that information going to be revealed? We haven't seen him do anything that savvy yet, and he knows not to be a leader. And if you look at the white collar tribe, yeah, the other tribes know So went home. We'll probably discuss the idol thing, like who did what, and maybe Joaquin's name comes up. But I don't think if anyone's the leader of white collar tribe, I would probably say Tyler, just because he's friends with Carolyn, he's friends with Joaquin, and then he voted also with Max and Shireen in that first tribal. So I don't think Max screams like the leader here.
well, the reason I'm saying this is obviously I know Shireen is his closest ally in this game right now, but Shireen has had confessionals where she says he loves the game as much as me, he knows the game as well as me, he's like a student of the game. Like she has said these things about him. So clearly it's come out. Whether he's only said it to her or he said it to everybody, I don't know. But I feel like he can't help but talk about himself. He's out there for the attention right now. And yeah, he'd love to win the game, but he is out there for his 15 minutes. And he is doing everything he can to get as much screen time and get as much attention. And I feel like this is
I
playing.
don't I don't think
I
he's
feel,
doing like crazy amount to get attention.
I
I
could
mean, yeah,
see
he
him.
got
I could see him
naked.
have told people or having told people. I could see him having told people how much he knows the game, or he told the wrong person and they just start telling everybody.
I don't know. I feel like we haven't seen Max really. If Max were going to go home this early, I feel like we would have seen more of him already. I mean, he did not have one confessional last week. I think there's more of Max, and that's why. I mean, I have him at I have him at 3.
3.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, he's not this physically strong guy that you're threatened by. So
All right.
I mean, we'll see. But I hear what you're saying. I just don't really agree with it. So. All right, now I'm at 9, and I have Mike at 9.
Okay.
And it's kind of like what you said. I see if Blue Collar does go to Tribal in the first hour, I don't think he goes. And then I think after a tribe swap, he fits in well with because the No Collar tribe. They all seem to be working really hard. They have a good work ethic. They've mentioned it. And I think he would fit in kind of with the no-collar people. I mean, he ate a scorpion just on a whim, just like first day of Survivor, woohoo. And then like the white-collar tribe has some older people, and he's in his like what mid-40s. So I think maybe he could vibe with
Or close to 40. Yeah.
yeah, I think he can vibe with those white-collar people.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Mike. Like I think Mike's all right. I don't know if he's in the best position. I think that's why we both have him a little low. blue collar is the hardest one to get a read on, and I'm really hoping they're the ones who go to tribal first before the tribe swap because I really want to see what would happen. I don't want it to just be, oh, they had all this infighting, white collar goes to tribal or no collar goes to tribal. It's an obvious Shireen or not even obvious, but Shireen or will go home, and then we don't get to even see blue collar go. I really want blue collar to go to the first tribal. That would be the best case scenario, I think, so we can really see where they stand. And then there's a tribe swap, and who knows, that would cause so much more feuding. You know what I mean? Like that would cause
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
we talked about it on our last prediction. We really want to see Blue Tribal go to Tribal Council. It would be because there's so much going on. Everyone is fighting on that tribe.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, my number 9. This one. This is the highest. This could be the one that cost me everything. After having him at 17, 16, and 16, I got Dan at 9. And my thing is,
wow,
I felt like
wow.
last week was a very good episode for Dan. And I don't know, I know that this is going to be surprising to people, but I feel like Dan is actually in a better position after all that fighting because we saw Rodney go up to Dan and talk to Dan about how mad he was at Mike. And we saw Rodney, Lindsay, and Mike fighting. Like, we saw everybody fighting, and Dan, even though he was the one who called Rodney's mom a whore, I feel like if they would have went to tribal last time, Dan wouldn't have gone. I feel like Dan worked his way up in their good graces. And back to the Mike thing, if Dan can make it past the first episode and get to a tribe swap, he's proven himself not to be that weak of a guy, and he's old enough where he would get along with the older groups, but he's also got that ridiculous personality that the no-collars might really find endearing. And I actually feel like he might get along better with Jen, Joe, and Haley than he does with somebody like Rodney who's going to take things more seriously than them.
I mean, I do like Dan, and it doesn't. I don't know. It's tough because I feel like if he makes a tribe swap, he'll be fine. But we just don't know where Blue Collar stands. And if they do go to tribal first, it very, very well could be Dan going home. I mean, he's been like on the bottom of that tribe since the premiere, since like their first scene. He was arguing, and I know he's done a lot to make up for that. But we have too little information because they've never had to, put the name on the parchment. So I can't put him that high. So I'm kind of glad you put him that high. Because he very well could go home.
Yeah, but like I said to you, like I feel like any of these people could go. I'm just taking a little bit more of a chance here, thinking that I'm trying to think in terms of 2 episodes. Who do I think could survive them both? And when I'm getting down to these people down towards the end, I just feel like there's like so many people can go right now because it's 2 episodes. If it was just one, Dan would be lower, but because it's 2, I'm hoping Dan can survive the first one because if he does, he's going to be fine for the tribe swap. That's how I feel about it. So I'm kind of looking at the tribe swap a bit too and trying to maneuver around that. Bad strategy, maybe. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, no, you have to do what do what you got to do for this. It's tough doing 2 episodes.
It really is.
But hey, I hear you. I hear you. Okay. At number 10, I have Joaquin, and I said this on the recap show. I think Shireen has now replaced Joaquin of the bottom of the white collar tribe. Do you agree?
I do agree.
Okay, so let's say they go to tribal first. I think Shireen goes, and then after a tribe swap, I think Joaquin. He's very low key, and he's almost like Tyler, like very calm and relaxed, and if he won't rub people the wrong way like we initially thought he would, and he's proven to be pretty good at challenges. So you kind of want him on your tribe. So again, we don't know where the numbers will line up. I can't move him up. The reason I have him at 10, I know I'm saying only good things, but he got caught in that lie, and if that comes out that he's untrustworthy, that could really come to bite him in the back.
Yeah, I actually have Joaquin at 11, so I'll just say that before I tell you who my number 10 is. But I have Joaquin at 11, so we can just talk about him still. I do agree with you that Joaquin is in a little bit better position, and I feel like Shireen would go first on the white collar if white collar goes before the tribe swap. And then at the tribe swap, Joaquin's a strong dude, and he's good at these challenges. And I don't feel like people are going to be super threatened by Joaquin, although maybe they should be in terms of strategy.
Yeah,
Because
that's another reason why he's like this low is just he could be looked at as a threat also.
Yeah, but he could be looked at as a threat, but I also feel like strategically they're not looking at him as so much of a threat because I think he's getting stereotyped as just the strong young guy who's going to be a merge boot or near the merge he's going to go. But right now they don't have to worry about him and they can use him. I mean, at 14, there's 14 people in the game. You got to use them. Why not use them? You know what I mean? Like, hope that your tribe keeps winning.
Right, right. Yeah.
Because
Okay, who's your number 10?
you don't know when the merge coming. The merge could be 10. The merge could be 12. It could be 10. It could be who knows. So I think you keep Joaquin for a little bit, especially if you're the tribe that loses the first challenge. When it comes down to two tribes, I don't see how Joaquin is your first boot. There's going to be weaker people or people that are more abrasive.
So why do you have him so low then?
Why do I have him so low? That's a very good question. Because if for some reason Shireen and Max were able to pull in Carolyn or Tyler, Joaquin would still be the one to go.
Right. Okay. Yeah. He's also still nowhere near the top of.
He's still number 4 on that tribe,
right.
according to me. I think he's still number 4.
Right. Okay.
But
so who did you have at 10?
At 10, I had Carolyn, and that seems low because you had her at 2. The reason I have Carolyn so low is because I'm not worried about her going before the swap, but when the swap happens, if somehow the idol gets out, I don't know if it can because only her and Tyler know. But if somehow the idol gets out or somebody gets suspicious that she has the idol and they can pull a blindside on her, that's more of a reason than anything else. So
right.
I could really see that. I could see that happening. I don't think it will, but just in case it does, I have her at 10.
Okay. I think that idol is such a the thing, and I know everyone says flush the idol, flush the idol. It's such a risk because if it gets played and Carolyn somehow detects it, and we saw her, she was good at reading when she didn't play it in the so vote, and that was very, smart of her. I don't know how sure everyone was in the voting. It sounds like from So's exit interview, she even knew she was going,
she knew, yeah.
And they just kind of edited it. So maybe that isn't as good as we thought by Carolyn, but I think she's an observant, she's this white collar. She's smart, obviously. I think she'll use this idol well. And if someone they try to flush it and then she plays it, you're making yourself extremely vulnerable.
The thing that it is now, though, if they do go one episode and then the swap, like we're saying, instead of the swap and then they have 2 episodes with the swap, now you have more numbers in your tribe and you have more room to move around. And let's say she gets stuck on a tribe and it's just her and Tyler. And they're like, well, we want to flush the idol and get Carolyn out. If they can manage to split votes between Tyler and Carolyn, now you have more room to play because the tribe's not as small as it.
Wait, but how would they even know she has an idol though? That's the thing.
My whole thing is if somehow it comes out, I'm keeping myself safe by having Carolyn at 10. I don't know how they would find out, but just in case it happened, I want to make sure that I'm not in trouble here with that.
Okay, I just think Carolyn is. I mean, she had 13 confessionals in the first episode.
And then nothing.
And then Sue. I mean, she's had a very positive edit so far. I would be shocked. That she's one of the people I think is almost sure to make it through.
I have 5 people below her, so it's not like I don't think she's at the bottom.
Right? I know.
Yeah, weird things happen when there's mix-ups. That's kind of what I'm saying here.
All right, and idols when you throw idols in the mix.
Yeah, it's just weird shit.
Okay, at 11 I have Rodney, and. Okay. I think he and Lindsay are definitely gonna. I kind of agree with you. I think they're gonna fall somewhat towards the bottom of the blue collar tribe. It's either them or Dan. And I don't know. Rodney. He was terrible last episode socially, just yelling and fighting, barking at everybody. So I don't have much to say. I just don't really like his game so far.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying with Rodney completely. I have Rodney even lower than you do. So, I mean, Rodney's in a messed up position here, where it's like if he doesn't hone himself down, he's unlike Joaquin, where he's the big strong guy that you want to keep on your tribe, but he has clearly started to rub people the wrong way already. And we were getting high on Rodney after the first episode. We're like, oh, this guy's not that bad. Last week he showed he's not as aware. He made a good point with the whole eating thing. But at the same time, you can't just keep going on and on and on and on about it. You know what I mean? So I'm a little worried about Rodney this week.
A new tribe would help him, though. And that's why I have him at 11. I don't know where you have him. You don't have to tell me now. But the only thing that could work for him, a new tribe, just new fresh faces, new people. We saw him play. It seemed like a pretty good game for the first 2 episodes. So if he just, and then I think it just, I don't know what was going on with that blue collar tribe. Something was in the water where everyone was just got
Yeah.
so angry all at once. I mean, Dan did call his mother a whore, and then
Oh yeah, no, I completely understand why Rodney was mad at Dan and Mike. The whole thing is, him and Lindsay just kept going on and on and about everything. Like they just would not let anything go.
yeah, it seems in the preview that like there's a little shot of Lindsay and Rodney yelling at each other. So they probably have they probably split up there. I guess you can't really even call it an alliance. They never have even been a tribal. But yeah, I got Rodney at 11.
At 12, I have Will because if yeah, that's I mean I could probably put him at the bottom. I got him at 12. If no collar goes, he's gone. But if no collar doesn't go and he gets through, he's another one. If he gets through that first episode, he's a positive guy and yeah, he's a little weak, but he's also a number. And I feel like Will doesn't have enough of an alliance, and if they see that he's the weakest person on the no-collar totem pole, hey, let's bring him in. He can be our fourth, or he can be our fifth, because you need the numbers at the swap. You'll do anything to get those numbers. So I could see Will being pulled in under someone's wing. So I have him at 12, and I actually have three people below him just because I think he's going to be that number. He's going to be the pawn if they do a swap and he makes it.
Okay. I disagree with you on the second part. I don't think it's not like one of these players, if they can survive the first episode, they'll survive the second. I think it's not like he had one bad challenge. It's a continued like huffing and puffing. He's just winded out there, and he's a big dude, and he could easily blow the challenge again for his new tribe. And depending on how the numbers work out, it could be a very easy boot with Will going. And then, like you said, Will obviously will go if no collar loses the first challenge in the first episode. And that really, their tribe is not that strong. Like, they have Joe, who's this, like, golden boy hero. But then what? That's it.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree. We saw it last week. It killed them. They don't have any strength.
So, yeah, I mean, I have Will lower. I'll just say now, I have Will at 14. So he's second to last on my power rankings. At 12, I have Shireen. I don't know if we need to say much more about Shireen. If white collar goes, we think she goes after the swap. I mean, if she proves to be annoying again, and it's not like the only one that really seems to like be good with Shireen on her tribe is Max. And you would think since they have 5 people in the white collar tribe, and they're splitting into 2 tribes, odds are Tyler, Joaquin, or Carolyn are going to end up on her tribe. You would think one of those people would. Mm-hmm. And all it takes is one to be like, yeah, Shireen's annoying.
Yeah,
just boom.
No, I agree. Because that's going to be her downfall. Like, I thought she was in a good spot after the first week, but right now, I mean, if she can't keep her mouth shut, man, she's done. And that's kind of how I have my last 3 people. Because if they can't keep their mouth shut, they're going to be the ones who are gone.
Go for it. Go. Let's hear them.
All right, for 13, I got Rodney. We've already really talked about Rodney enough. Shireen, I have at 14, and then at 15, I have Lindsay because one, it scared me with the injury thing. I don't know who was injured, but Sierra was the one who yelled like she's bleeding or something. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it's going to actually come into play. It might not even be a big deal. It could be anyone.
I doubt this medical thing is going to send someone home. It's like
I kind of agree with you.
It's perfect for a trailer. It's perfect for a preview to throw that in there, get people, oh my God, who is it? This is exciting. It's just total bait for viewers. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to end up being a very, very big deal. And if it was a big deal, we wouldn't have seen it in the preview.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But at the same time, when it's 2 episodes, maybe not so much that, but I'm thinking the Rodney-Lindsay fight, if they're not as tight as we originally thought they were.
Oh, they're fighting now.
Yeah, you got 2 episodes for them to fight. And yeah, the first episode, it might be a bluff, but the second one, it might come up big. That's why I have Lindsay in last place and Rodney at 13. Because if they're split and they end up on the same tribe, and no collar and white collar are like, well, hey, we can split up blue collar easily here and take them out because they already have, even if they go to tribal, they still have they're tied for the most numbers with white collar. They have more numbers than no collar. So why not decimate that tribe a little bit more? Lindsay or Rodney might be an easy boot. So that's why I have Lindsay at 15, Rodney at 13. Shireen,
Yeah,
she's
yeah. I'll just round out my rankings here. I had Shireen at 12. At 13, I have Dan. I know you're high on Dan now, but he could easily go to if Blue Collar loses that challenge in the first episode, he could go. And then the second episode, he is a big fat dude who has been annoying. Like we can't forget that. As much as
I
we
hear
kind of
you.
say, "Oh, he's making ground," we can't forget he's an old, fat, annoying guy. Like that. I like Dan a lot. He seems nice, but you can't really fix annoyingness. And then at 14, I have Will, just because if No Caller does go, he's definitely going. And that No Caller tribe, like I just said, is very weak. They have Joe.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's all they have.
And then 15, I'm with you. I have Lindsay. No one. I feel like Lindsay won't make it through this double episode, especially because if she were to make it to the tribe swap, she's can't be she's not like that strong in challenges, and she does have like this mouth that we've seen. Like, did God make that fire? Like, if that continues, I don't feel good about Lindsay. So
I agree with you on the Lindsay thing. I don't. She's been shown so negatively. And really, when they're not going to tribal, why are they showing her so negatively? And I feel like it's because it's coming to a head, and it's going to blow up right here in this double boot episode. She might be the first one to go. I think she's going to go in the first episode. I think Blue Collar's finally going to lose. I think that this is going to be great, where Blue Collar's going to go to tribal, and I'm thinking Lindsay's going to be the one to go home.
all right. Should we go through the listeners' predictions? We have a few.
Yeah, I'll look. I have what do you call it? I have a couple things on Twitter if you want me to just go through those real quick. There's not really many. It was more just MVP stuff. Um,
Tyler blew it out of the water. No one even else really had a vote,
yeah,
at least on the YouTube comments.
it was all Tyler, and then somebody said that MVP's got to be Tyler searching for the idol and bringing Joaquin closer to him. Like it was just all about Tyler. That's all we really had on here. So yeah, I guess we can just go to the other stuff then.
Okay, so we have Colin McDonald. He comments quite a bit. Thank you, Colin. He says, I think Lindsay and Rodney will fall out next episode, and Lindsay will go home. The medical situation, I reckon, will be nothing major. We should be able to tell a lot once we see the swap tribes. I agree with everything that he just said. I think the medical thing is just a big red herring. I don't think it will play much into what happens. And yeah, do you have anything on that prediction? I mean, it sounds pretty good. Lindsay or Rodney, it sounds pretty
Yeah, I mean,
reasonable.
once you get the tribe swap, once you get the swapped tribes, there we go. I can
Hey,
hey, once we get the swapped tribes, we're going to be able to tell a lot. It's really the first boot that nobody's been really able to predict, and it kind of seems like everybody wants to just kind of say that it's the people that we've been thinking the whole time. He's saying Lindsay will go home. I don't know if he actually means in the next episode or just in general on Wednesday night. So
right.
it's the first boot's hard to predict. Once you get the swap tribes, it's going to be pretty easy. I think it's going to be actually kind of easier to see who the second boot is once we see.
I don't know. Tribe
what
swaps,
happens.
it's like, especially when you're going from three. It's not like you just have like last season where you have two tribes and then they
Yeah,
swap.
that's true.
Like with the three tribes going down to two, you're gonna have white collar, blue collar, no collar on the same tribe. Numbers are gonna be all over the place. I wouldn't be so sure. And especially Jeff said that this is like one of the best episodes of the season. We could be in for some craziness. So I don't think it's that predictable. I think Shireen and Will would be like the predictable boots on both their tribes, and then blue collar, I just don't know. Like
I have no idea. And it goes back to you wanting to put Dan so low and how I kind of moved him up. Like, even if Dan goes home, would I be surprised? No. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of them went home except for Kelly or Sierra. So, like, I really don't know. There's a lot of people I could see going home. For a two-boot episode, 4 episodes into the season, there's a lot of people I could see going home. I would not be surprised if any of them go home.
Right. And it's we have the double boot and the tribe swap. Makes everything crazy.
It
Okay.
is.
We have Jake the Snake, and he says he thinks Rodney is going home. And then we have Solomon Belay saying, judging from the previews, it looks like Lindsay and Rodney's alliance will fall apart. And if Blue Collar loses, maybe one of them goes. So Rodney and Lindsay are taking a lot of heat in the comments. We have Carl Hein. I had one observation that I thought was interesting and may play out down the road post-merge. I think as strong as Joe, Haley, and Jen are as a trio, I really think it's Haley and Jen that are the real alliance as a duo. Haley says in one of her confessionals about Will, my biggest fear is Will might do something idiotic, and Jen and I will have to deal with it. He goes on. He says pretty much they're 1 and 2. We said this last week. I think that's totally the case. And then you mentioned that Joe is like a shield for them, who can, he'll be the threatening guy while they can kind of hang in the back.
Yeah, that observation by him is spot on. And yeah, we talked about that in our last episode. I mean, Joe's in a little bit of trouble here, maybe. I don't think he's in enough trouble where Haley and Jen would turn on him, but Haley and Jen have that buffer now. They have Joe, who's more threatening, and it seems like Haley and Jen, that's why I think we got that whole clip of them going surfing in the ocean, because it's like people want to, like, they want to play up how good of friends these girls are going to be. So I think that he's spot on with that. Joe hasn't been shown doing anything that much fun with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree as well. He also said, I really didn't think Shireen was that annoying. Like, yeah, it was immature to go on and on about monkey sex, but I don't think people are that annoyed with her. Joaquin is still in a much more difficult situation. I think they were just playing up Shireen's immaturity to create tension and suspense on that team. That could be true. It could be Joaquin is so on the bottom that they need to, like, make someone look really annoying, I guess, or someone that could kind of rival Joaquin for that bottom spot. So if they do go, it's not like a slam dunk predictable boot. However, she went on and on about the monkey sex, and they were annoyed. It wasn't like editing, and I think you even mentioned this on the recap. You could see their reactions in the same shot as she was saying it, and they were just like, oh my god, like they were like rolling their eyes.
Yeah, that doesn't normally happen. They normally do have to fool with the editing, and yeah, I agree more with you than him on that, where I do think Shireen's annoying them. I could see how the editing would want to create more drama. Maybe Shireen is okay, but I could see Joaquin being in a more difficult situation, but I think Shireen's going to be the one to go if they go to tribal, because I think that she really has annoyed them. Yeah, I just think she's annoyed them more.
All right. Let's see here.
But you got to mention the Stephen Holt show, because he mentioned 2 redheads. That's a good thing, because last week Willie looked like a redhead. Not so much this week.
Do I not look? Yeah, I mean, it's just this background and lighting in the living room here. It's like
you're wearing a red shirt.
More red than it's orange. This is an orange shirt.
Oh, well, the shirt looks really red on my computer, so maybe that's helping. Why you don't look like you have red hair right now?
Is it red and green, or is it blue and orange?
Are we going to do this?
I'm kidding.
I'm not doing that. It's white and gold.
White and gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Tara Stacy saying, if Blue Collar goes to tribal, do you think Kelly and Sierra low-key control who goes home? And yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we've been thinking, is they're the swing
low-key. I don't even think, I mean, they're low-key players, but I don't think it's low-key that they control who goes home. I think it's very yes, it's up to them, because you have Mike and Dan who are pretty tight. The thing about Rodney and Lindsay is that blow up before the tribe swap. You kind of have to think it is, but we'll see.
That makes it harder with the tribe swap. Knowing it's 2 episodes, we don't know if that's now or later. We don't know when that's exactly going to happen, which makes it hard.
The previous scenes, right?
Yeah. You
could probably tell that if you really wanted to look into it. You could probably figure out by what they're wearing and the scenery in the background.
I like to be surprised.
I think that it's in the first episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Edwin Hernandez says, I see Blue Collar going to tribal at least once next week. So either Dan or Lindsay could go home, and if White Collar, it's obviously between Shireen and Joaquin. And if no collar, it's 100% Will. Yeah, agree with that, pretty much.
I just don't think it's going
Um,
to be Dan or Lindsay. That's the only thing I disagree with. I really don't think Dan's. I mean, Dan could
why,
go,
why is
but I
Lindsay at
don't
the
think.
bottom of your power rankings?
Why is Lindsay at the bottom of my power ranking or everyone's?
No, Lindsay. You just said I don't think
Why
she's
is?
going.
No, no, no. I don't think Dan's going to go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, no, no. I think Lindsay's done. I'm saying with Dan, it's a little bit different. Where I don't think it's any longer between Dan and somebody. I think it's between like that whole group of four right now. I don't think that Dan is the only one being singled out to go home.
Okay. Bobby Bush says I think Shireen and Will are going to go. So pretty much more of the same. No really bold predictions here. And then none
I
of your business says my prediction next time. Lindsay goes home. Also, I think she may be the person that gets hurt next episode. Since it's 2 hours long, I'll also say that I see Will going home as well. So a lot of Will, Lindsay, and Rodney.
and Shireen.
Shireen
Yeah,
and Dan in there in the mix.
yeah.
Those are all players that were at the bottom of our power rankings. But hey, we'll have to see. Hopefully, we'll be somewhat surprised. I mean, I want to do well in power rankings, but I also don't just want like a predictable boot, especially two predictable boots.
Well,
Um,
I'm gonna be honest. I think the only one that the first boot is going to be predictable. I think at least whichever tribe goes, I think it's going to be more predictable. The second boot,
Not
I
if
don't know,
blue
man.
collar goes.
Well, yeah, that I mean, it's hard, man. It really is. So I don't think that we're going to be disappointed in this episode unless no caller goes first, Will goes home, and then the next thing happens, the tribe swap happens, Lindsay and Rodney fight, and one of them goes home the second time. Then that wouldn't be so much fun. That would be a little predictable.
Right. Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, 2 hour episode. So hopefully I can stay up on the East Coast after the episode. Getting
Yeah, we
old.
might have to podcast Thursday because the Warriors Hawks are playing as well at
Wow.
7:30, and that's like a big. I'm a huge Warriors fan, and I might have to watch that after Survivor. So we
Wow.
might podcast Thursday unless Phil you can stay up late.
Wow. Well, yeah. I guess we'll have to see. Wow. What would happen if Miami
We'll
would have?
figure it out. I can always record it. We'll see.
If Miami makes the tournament, are you gonna just never podcast again? It's a good thing Miami didn't make the tournament.
I mean, they didn't. I knew they weren't going
Your
to. So.
priorities are all over the place. Well, this is the only thing that matters.
I mean, I do. I mean, Survivor and Warriors are like probably the two things I care about in TV the most. So,
Okay.
and
All right.
Giants. Once the Giants are back on too, but that'll be in April. So, but they play so often you can miss the games. This is like best team in the West, best team. We can start doing a sports podcast if we
Yeah.
want.
Just not the NBA, dude. I can't take it. Unless the
Oh,
Celtics make the playoffs, then I'll do it.
all right. Enough of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.